So yeah, this is the second part. As I finished before, I said that yeah, I was sent to theater, and I was the C-section was performed, but everything was kind of more calmer and more gentle. I was asking lots of questions, and I actually fall asleep first because I was really tired, and which was nice. And then when my son was taking out and they showed me, he started crying, and actually he woke me up at this point, and it was very nice waking up moment. The best alarm ever. Yeah, and basically when I said I was informed about the C-section, obviously that happened before C-section, I spoke for a good half an hour with an anesthesiologist. I told him I don't want epidural because before I had a problem with my spine. I couldn't bend forward for a good 7 months, and I don't want to have epidural. Do you have anything else? So he offered me a spinal, which is absolutely brilliant, and I was really happy with that. Since then I had a tiny bit of problems with my back in terms of kind of sudden pain which was going through my spine, but that was lasting maybe a good 3 weeks. Now and then, maybe a few times, maybe 3-4 times I had that, and everything is gone now. So I'm literally after a week of cesarean section, I was off all painkillers, and I was walking. I was going for walks. I had my coffees as usual with my partner and our kids, and I was really enjoying myself. So basically the whole experience was completely different, and I think it was really definitely due to the fact that first of all I was way more prepared. I had way more knowledge. I was way more confident, but also I had wonderful midwives who took care of me to the point that I would never expect it. I was really touched by the fact that I could have such a great midwives and such a great care. For example, I went to the toilet because I was leaking waters, and I was in pain. I had contractions. I had to work with contractions. I was walking up and down to the toilets, and the midwife was walking with me. She was going with me to the toilet. When I was sitting on the toilet, she was telling me how wonderful I am doing, how great I'm dealing with everything, and how I can do it, and how strong I am, and like, come on, like, who is doing this? Like, I was out of words. Seriously, I was speechless even now. If thinking about this, it's greatest thing to be taken care of so much by a person who loves their job so much. I mean, that was just amazing, and I think she really made our memories so wonderful this day, because again, we were just numbers. Like, we women who are pregnant, who are going into labor, we are just numbers for hospital. But the midwives there, they are making our memories forever. And I think I was just maybe a little bit of lucky, or I also realized that I can go from one spectrum, as I said, from my previous pregnancy and from my previous labor, where everything went wrong, to another spectrum point that, okay, I will do it on my own, just leave me alone, and I don't want to deal with doctors, because I am a woman. I know what's gonna happen, and I am made to do that. And as Ina May Gaskin said, we are powerful enough, and we have to believe in our, we are made to do that, to give birth, and it's been happening since ages, and which I agree, which is true. But after my second birth, I honestly think that we have to find a middle point, because my baby got stuck, and he got stuck because at 8 centimeters, and I had to have the cesarean section or drip or whatever. If I hadn't had that, I would have been in trouble, and my son possibly could be in health problems as well. So I've got to give these credits for for medical stuff this time, and despite the fact that VBAC group showed me this whole benefits of being educated, knowing facts and standing up for yourself in certain situations, but still we have to remember that we have to let midwives and doctors do their job as well, in terms of, intervening when it's needed. And yes, the C-section rates are too high at the moment, and we have to let midwives to be more involved and educate and inform women to know their rights and let them give birth naturally. But I suppose that I still think that certain aspects and certain situations need to be taken care of by doctors and really let them do intervene. Because if I would be somewhere in the house, for example, and giving birth in my house, which I was planning, by the way, I would be probably taken by an ambulance at this point, and just, it would end up in very, very chaotic preparation for C-section and all that stuff. Instead of, I had this nice, gentle preparation, and I had this opportunity to talk to doctors and tell them about my fears and what I wish to happen, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. So yeah, that is my experience about the birth. I'm sorry I'm talking so much. I just realized it's another 6 minutes. So anyway, the very last point what I want to say is the book. Yeah, of course. With my first son, I was really following the book of Joe Frost, which I, by the way, did revision about this book, my own thoughts about the book before. So look at my videos. One of them is about her book, which I loved, by the way. But this time I realized that I would like to. I was reading a lot about attachment parenting way before, a few years ago, and this book is quite good about the basic rules and rules which follow. I mean, there are not so many rules, but generally what is it about, and for all people who are interested. Surprisingly, I'm not really a big fan of this book. I know it's gonna sound really harsh, but I don't really like much how this book is written. There are lots of statements which they don't have much evidence or any referencing points that you can check. They say one statement, for example, breastfeeding is the best, one of the best methods for, I forgot what, for something, I don't remember, but again, those statements need, again, evidence and some kind of research or, arguments to support this kind of statement. The book is written quite chaotically as well. I found it very chaotic, but overall, I mean, it's quite clear points. The language is very simple, so I think for anyone who would be interested in attachment parenting, this book is quite alright, but I wouldn't really had too many hopes for I mean, I wouldn't have too many expectations from this book. If you want to know the basics, it's quite good. Yeah, and I'm actually following those rules. My son is breastfeed most of the times, which I didn't have a chance to do with my oldest son. We do co-sleep together, which probably is not really, obviously it's not, doctors will not allow that